Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am your host with the most, Natan Verhovsky, founder of Allura Creative Agency that presents in our wonderful group, the Frequency of Abundance group, both on LinkedIn and we have a separate paid group that you can join. This is one of the cornerstones that we do, a daily, incredible deep dive, 7 days a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays with experts from around the world in a plethora of different topics that you can imagine. And the other days you get stuck with little old me. So, right now, let's have the most amazing Mr. Bill Walters join us. He's a seasoned financial advisor, more than 30 years experience in wealth management, in retirement planning. He's got degrees in finance and a passion for helping individuals achieve the financial goals, especially if you're thinking about retirement, in retirement, post retirement in that context. He's also a person of deep humanitarianisms for himself. He has a special needs family, and he's created an incredible place, perfectlyimperfectfamilies.org, where you can have a chance to have some of this incredible advice, and it's his way to also give back. So, without further ado, let me bring you over to the wonderful Mr. Bill Walters, whose financial holistic approach is absolutely incredible. We're going to learn some secrets and nuggets right now, and I think this is going to be incredible. I'll put his contact in the chat so you can reach out to him and have a one-on-one. Highly suggested. Mr. Bill, take it away.
Hi, Natan. Thank you so much for the kind words and introduction. Today, we are going to talk about estate planning, positive mindset with estate planning. Why do we estate plan? What are the benefits of estate planning? And then all the little subtopics. So, we only have 30 minutes or so to get this done. So, let's get started. So, the first myth of estate planning is it's for the lifestyles of the rich and famous. It's not. Estate planning is being set up so you can protect your assets from liabilities, from tax consequences, and people that may be trying to collect money as in a debt collector from their beneficiaries or the recipients of your ultimate gift of a legacy. So keep these things in mind. Also, an estate plan can include something as simple as a title and deed to a house. Now, why is that
Ooh.
important? It's important because if your parents are getting up there in age and you do not want them to attach to the asset of the family home, you have a clicking talk of 5 years and 1 day to go attach to that to collect for, say, a senior living home. But after 5 years and 1 day, if it's held in the ownership of an estate, the tax consequences are completely different. So I'll take a breath and I'll let you go next.
That is very cool. Okay. Okay. And this is cool because the strategies that we're looking at today, they're applicable both in a broad sense that everyone should be examining and looking at these, but they're very specific as well. And that's one of the things that we talk about. In general, Bill can give you this incredible advice in general, but you can imagine if these are the tips that you get, complimentary, and in general, what you could do specifically if you took the time and had a one-on-one, it's complimentary, and do a strategy session, do a deeper dive and see what it would look like personalized for you. I'm going to put his contact information in the chat, and I know that it doesn't stream out to all channels, so I don't think Facebook will show it. YouTube saying yes. There we go, Laura. So we'll put up an overlay. That way we can see everybody and any new comments that are coming in. Here we go. Awesome sauce. So if you have a comment, if you have a question for Bill, put it in the chat. We're catching it live and we're being able to bring it in across all channels through. Awesome. Bill, you may continue.
Great. So when you're game planning for the golden era of retirement, the state does not recognize verbal. STATE, state, not estate. Now, if you do not have a game plan for retirement, all your information goes probate or public, and everyone finds out your information. And when I say everyone, it means your neighbors, your enemies, your friends, but also the dark web, because that information is made public. And that's
Mm.
all information. So you want to protect yourself. One of the reasons to get an estate plan is to keep your matters private and confidential, so everyone doesn't know your business. So I highly recommend putting things in writing, establishing a game plan. Now, the game plan, when you have an estate plan, it's components. Okay. The first component is a standard will, is a part of your estate plan. A will by itself is better than no will, but a will can be still taken to court and challenged publicly. But a will inside an estate plan is a whole different matter.
Wow.
Also included in an estate plan is a medical care directive. Why is that important? A medical care directive is that something happens to you, God forbid, and you're in an accident or incapacitated, coma, heart attack, stroke, and you don't have the abilities to verbalize your medical wishes and intentions. Those questions are already answered in your medical care directive, and you
That's
assign a person, a trusted person who doesn't think from the heart, but from the mind of what you want and what's best for you. And that's who you assign as your director of your medical care directive.
wow. Now that's powerful, people. If you haven't done that, or if you haven't even considered it, talk to Bill. See what some strategy like that may actually have an impact on for yourself. Very interesting. Okay. I like this. We're only a couple minutes in and we've already discovered some nuggets, discovered some very, very cool things that we can do. That's awesome.
The next step would be a financial care directive. In case you're incapacitated, you choose someone who's responsible to take care of your day to day bills. If you have a mortgage, if you have credit card payments, if you have a car payment, if you have insurance payments, these things can be paid while you're incapacitated so you're not in arrears. Very important. Things need to be done. You might say, well, I already have everything on automatic pilot. Well, do you? I mean, you don't know the bills in the future. So put it in writing. Make sure these things are taken care of. Now, all this ties in nice and neatly with having a game plan for retirement, because you want to be able to create a nest egg for yourself,
Right.
as well as a soft landing spot for your beneficiaries upon your passing. And would you rather having them pay a high inheritance rate, or would you rather have them pay little or no taxes on their inheritance, so what they inherit is what they keep? You can avoid taxes
Mm.
legally, and you can defer taxes legally by having a good estate plan in place.
I like that. Okay. Give us I guess maybe a caveat, something that people could be watching out for when they think they might already have that satisfied, but maybe something they might have missed or something that they really need to double check and check mark off their checklist, so to speak. What would something like that look like?
So, if you already have a will, if you already have a medical care directive, if you already have a financial care directive, one thing that is often skipped is guardianship. Okay. Where your
Mm.
child under 18, who's going to take care of them? Okay. What does that caretaking look like? If they're older than 18 and they need guidance, such as a special needs child or a child that's on the spectrum, a written plan of daily activity should be included in a living trust, so that you can set up a game plan so that child or adult child can lead the life to the fullest of the greatest intention, or how they should live the life so they can get the most enjoyment out of it, right? So you,
Mhm.
you set these game plans into action, enabling those who are doing the caretaking to continue your good works moving forward.
I like that. And it gives people the opportunity that they have the foresight, because You can always hope for the best, but you still have to kind of plan for the worst,
Yes. And so a lot of people delay estate planning and wills and trust planning because they put it off till tomorrow, and they don't really organize their thoughts on what is best.
Mm.
So my warning to you from personal experience is this: the best day to start planning for your estate planning is today and not tomorrow, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. Now, I have a story that Natan has heard before, but it's pretty applicable to this format, and that is everybody remembers, James Gandolfini, the actor from The Sopranos, and in his lifetime, he accumulated close to $70 million worth of assets. But when he passed unexpectedly, much like the show ending where the screen went black, he did not have a will or a game plan in place, and he lost 40% of his value or worth to taxes. And his wife, because he had no game plan in place, only received 18% of what was left over. And that might not have been his wishes, but that's what she got. And just so you don't think that this is about the lifestyles of the rich and famous, right? I had a friend known as Ralph the Roofer. And Ralph was
Mm.
51. He was working on roofs, and he was old school, did not like to do things via computer and liked to sign things with a wet ink signature. And I was over his house on a Friday night, and I walked in, and there was a lot of chaos going on. And I asked what's going on, and he says that my refrigerator and freezer broke down, and we're cooking everything, and we don't have a backup, and we're trying to make things not spoil. And I don't have the money to give you for the down payment of my $2 million term policy. He said, "Can you wait a week?" And I said, "Sure, Ralph, I can wait a week. I'll come back."
Oh,
So I
man.
left, and on Wednesday, I get a phone call from his wife. And his wife said, "Bill," and I said, "Yes." And she said, "I'm the proud owner of a $2 million refrigerator." And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Ralphie was on a roof. He had a heart attack and he passed away. And instead of going through with that policy, which was the game plan, I now have a brand new refrigerator and no $2 million protection policy in place." And I said, "Well, am I allowed to share this with other people?" And she said, "Yes, because I want everyone to know that the best time to plan is for today. It's not for tomorrow.
Yeah.
If we put that policy into place, I would not have to go back to work at age 50 and start from ground zero and try to figure out how ends would meet. My house would be paid off. My car would be paid off. I'd have money for food. Instead, I'm left with nothing." So I share that with you because that's a regular person, okay, who could have
Yeah.
enacted that, and it was just $200 a month. Instead of the refrigerator is brand new, but the opportunity was missed.
It's brutal, man. Wow. And it's so, I'm sure there's a million of those stories every day. It's tough. There's people that outgrow their health and don't have the resources on the back end to support that. There's people that outgrow their money and their health is great and they didn't expect to be. How many rock stars are like, old and great now going, but I did so much bad stuff. I really shouldn't be here. And yet, yeah.
Yep. So one topic that comes up is something you just brought up, which is outliving your savings.
Mm.
When you set up a true retirement game plan that includes having an estate plan, one key facet is having a pillar or two pillars or three pillars or streams of income coming in to support your estate game plan so that you know what your retirement budget is and what your expenditures are. So you have excess or abundance. Now, I mentioned in the very beginning about having an abundance mindset or having a positive attitude. And one of the greatest gifts you can have is to be open to new ideas to you, where your heart and your mind are open, where, say, mainstream society from 1971 has old school practices that are not really applicable to today's retirement game plan.
Yeah.
It doesn't take into account taxes upon distribution. It doesn't take into account how cost of living increases are going to go up, or the cost of health insurance in the US is going to continue to rise. So when you set up a retirement game plan in an estate game plan, you want to have streams of income that are in abundance of your strategies for your monthly living budget in retirement. So you're not having to go work as a greeter at Walmart at
Wow.
age 78 to put food on the table.
Yeah.
So that's what we teach people how to do, to live in abundance, to have an abundance mindset, to learn what your budget will be in retirement, which also includes vacations. It also allows you to have fun and make memories with children and grandchildren.
Wouldn't that be
That's what
nice?
it's about, right?
Yeah, that's part of it, you guys, because it sucks to, have to work that hard, but it's just unbearable to have to work that hard and not get any of the pleasure returns. You know what I mean? So at least knowing that there's something of joy on the other side, that always brings a bit of happiness back. You guys could see as Bill's talking about abundance, and this is all part of the Frequency of Abundance group. We invite you to take a look, join us, see if it resonates with you. Come, speak, listen, hear, learn. We're all in that incredible mix. I believe the tide genuinely raises all boats. And if talking to Bill can help you get just a little bit more clarity on yourself, someone you know, a situation, to someone near and dear to you, it would be just a weight lifted off your chest to not have to leave that in the question mark zone until, knock on wood, heaven forbid, something happens. So knowing that you've got some semblance of a game plan in place, especially if you could iron out some of those other deals or pick up where you left off if you already started but didn't finish. Highly recommended. Talk to Bill. See what he can do for you.
Having the proper mindset enables you to be open in your heart, in your soul, in your headspace to new possibilities and growth. Because ultimately, what you want is abundance in retirement so that you can help others, that you dedicate your time to make a difference so you can mentor them. So instead of giving someone a fish, you teach them how to fish, and that passes on and down. So when you do retirement doesn't mean you stop and you sit in a chair and you do crossword puzzles. Retirement just means that you're not doing your 9 to 5, and you can dedicate your time to things that bring you joy. And that's what this is about, creating joy for your golden years. Because if it's done correctly, you will have time to do all the service endeavors you want and still have time for vacation, family, and fun, because you game plan correctly.
Yeah.
And with a purpose.
I like that. And I think that some of that purpose has to be put aside for fun, has to be, scheduled and really looked at as something that's valuable. It's like you have to take time for sleep. Doesn't matter how busy you are, you have to schedule it, right? There's other things that you should as well, like brushing your teeth and whatnot, but you can maybe get away with that for a bit. Try no sleep for a couple days. I'm pretty sure that will win. And that's kind of what it's like going into this dark, unknown forest without a spotlight. Having that spotlight and a little bit of that financial certainty, if you don't have any of the other kinds of certainty in your life, is such a blessing.
So what I do for people is I simplify the estate planning process. So prior to getting an attorney in the state that you live in, I help people understand the complexities and the vocabulary words of an estate plan, and we go through them together. I then give them a class, personalized or in group setting, of estate planning 101, estate planning 201. And I ask 6 to 7 basic questions, and I put the definitions of what the answers should be next to those questions. And we do this so that it changes your mindset to preparing and planning for the future and changing it in a positive way so that you know that you are working towards an end goal. And the question that comes to mind is, how can I support you? And what are we solving when we achieve this? Now, for some people, it solves peace of mind. For others, it gives them the ability to leave a legacy. And yet, for others, it gives them a reason to work hard for a certain period of time because the end game goal or the carrot before them is rest and relaxation with family.
Mm.
And then a fourth is the combination of all three, right? So think about what is your goal. Think about your dreams and your goals and your desires and how it feels when you get to that usage of that time and the memories you're going to make. What does it solve? How does it make you feel? I guarantee you, no other financial advisor is going to ask you how it makes you feel.
Yeah. It's a weird thing, but I like that because it's supposed to have a feeling. Money does. It's an emotional thing. I like that. I know I was always taught that money's a form of appreciation. And so I always liked looking at it as that energetic exchange that when somebody feels that you've got that exchange and that it's fair, I've always liked it that it was a more than just, here's $2, you gave me $2 worth of work or value or worth in some capacity, because that's very fleeting and very fluid in your description and definition of, well, is that worth $2? I'm like, is it worth $2 to you? And that's what everything boils back down to.
So, a couple final thoughts on
Okay.
areas or concerns. When people game plan for the future, it's usually because something happened in the not so recent past that triggered a moment of insecurity. A birth of a child, an unexpected death of a family member, that somebody was sued and they had no way to protect themselves from having all their assets removed because a mistake was made. So don't allow yourself to be put into a situation of struggle. Game plan ahead. Prepare a soft landing, not only for yourself, but for your beneficiaries. And even if you're a single person with no intentions of ever getting married, maybe think of what charities do you really like that you can support so you can support those charities and create a legacy about you after your demise, right? Just think of it in those terms.
I like that. I like that. If you take a look in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, this should be on every platform. I'm going to put, once again, you've got Bill's contact info. Grab a complimentary strategy session with him. Here's my contact info if that helps you out, if there's some eyes that you'd like on you, and to see if we can bring a little more attention to what you're up to. By all means, reach out. I'd love to say hi. Now, before we send us off, and Bill, I'll ask you for one final nugget to send us away. What was it that, since you've started working with all these different groups of people in the length of time that you've been doing it, has there been any recurring theme that you've seen over and over again?
On a positive note, the reoccurring theme is financial planning with a heart, meaning that we're looking to solve what's important to you. There's no cookie cutter answer. Your goals, your dreams, your desires, and we create a vehicle to get you from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
On a strategy moving forward, most people are unaware of the tax consequences in retirement. They are unaware that there should be a game plan for distribution in retirement, where
Right.
Uncle Sam doesn't get 33% of your nest egg for being your silent partner. And there was ways to game plan of having streams of income where you have a tax-free retirement stream. You have a self-funded pension stream, which is not the same thing as a 401k. A 401k is a government's invention to help employers create a savings plan that is tax deferred and kicking the can down the line. What most people fail to realize is you're subject to stock market risk, and you could lose as much as 40% of your nest egg, like what happened in 2008 and 2021 in one shot. And if you're approaching your late 50s and early 60s, can you really afford to go backwards for 3 to 5 years and not have any positive gains? And so your nest egg is a lot smaller than you anticipated, and you get hurt. And the answer is no, you can't. So why take on the risk? There's ways to remove the risk and still grow in a positive format between 9 and 17% annually as an average.
That's sexy.
Yep. And there's ways to grow income tax-free as an average of 10.46% income tax-free. And no, I'm not talking about a Roth, because that only grows between 3.5% and 4% annually. And if you're in the US, you're only allowed to contribute up to $7,000 a year. So
interesting.
These things are opportunities in a live format in which we can sit down on a one-on-one and create something that works for you, that protects you. So when you go to sleep at night, all the checks on the checkbox, retirement strategies, outliving your income, creating a tax-free environment, all those things are done, right? As well as having an estate plan in place.
So you don't have to be that greeter.
No.
There we go. Get on camera. That was my favorite. There you go. Hi.
Yay.
Get that great clean wave.
Yeah.
If nothing else, people are going to have to talk to you just to learn how to do that. There's like a whole motion going on there.
Oh, yes.
That's awesome. Phil, you're one of my favorites, man. I can see why.
Well, look, it's a pleasure. Helping others is what brings me joy, and would love to make a difference in your life as well. Natan, you offer people your heart as well. You teach them how to live with an abundance mindset, and you're a game changer. And anyone you touch gets blessed, not only personally, but long-term wise. So it's definitely a benefit to get to know you.
Awesome sauce. Ladies and gentlemen, reach out to us. We'd like to make more friends. This is the best part of our lives. We just go and make friends. So we'd like to be your friend. Say hi. I will end the stream. I will also remind you that we have a daily event. So tomorrow would be, what is tomorrow? That's going to be fun. Hold on a sec. Let me find out.
It's
Thursday. Thursday is going to be little old me talking about how to both serve and lead as a servant leader. So you might want to tune in on that and see what you see. We're going to have some fun. And then afterwards, we got Friday's guest appearance still to be announced. So it's going to be a mystery guest. I'm not even going to tell you. It's going to be awesome. We will hear from Mr. Bill Walters again. Don't you worry. He's one of our favorite guests. So